anytime soon. As here, it is time for us to get into the draft here for game number 1. DK, to add insult to injury to DNF, also have blue side, which has been pretty powerful here as far as like the first side on Fearless as well. It also feels really good to be on blue because drafts can get super weird when you get to the third game when a whole lot of things have been banned away. So red side, I feel, gets a little bit more valuable at that stage. We are going to see the Trundle banned away first, and then Pantheon, and then something else, and then Varus, and then something else, and then probably Azir. Oh,
yeah, although you say that, but I mean, Showmaker did have a good Azir game the other day, but not something we see banned as much against him. Actually going to ban the TF specifically against him, something Showmaker has been bringing out to great success, so will be denied from him.
That is a really weird one. Okay, well, one final ban to come through here for Dplus.
Not wanting to deal with the Nocturne Orianna combo that we saw Freecs piloting to pretty great success within the game. Match score-wise, not so much. They did the combo well. They didn't do the game-winning well, but to be fair, that's neither here nor there.
Any Gwen first pick enjoyers?
Yeah, that seems like they're setting up for that. And now you're in a difficult spot. Do you ban Gwen or do you ban Varus?
Yeah, maybe you ban neither. Hope that they pick the Gwen. Oh no, never mind. Just give aiming Varus. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
we really want to get those 2.5k kills out of the way, so that might be the way to do it. We are going to sit on this for a little while. Is it going to be the Azir priority? We could see a few things, aiming being a bit vocal here.
I feel like with Azir and Talia, maybe you're fine with that. I was thinking maybe something like the Wukong.
Oh god, okay. So, do you remember when, and you are obviously leader of the Lucid fan club, so you probably do remember, when DK were like impossible to beat in Challenger?
Yes.
Lucid would play Vi, and if he ever did manage to get his hands on this champion, they would just win every single game. It was disgusting. So I think that like this is kind of like the Croco situation where Croco has been making Vi work, even if she has been finding some losses here or there, outside of that permaban status that we did see in the previous season. This is a great round of picks, though, here for Dudu and Pyoshik, the Azir and the Poppy locked in.
I like the Azir. The Poppy, I like the pick, but I feel like you passed up the opportunity to take like the Varus here and kind of passed it over to Dplus again.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, actually.
Where they could have taken like Azir, Varus, and then taken Poppy on 3. Maybe they're concerned about Poppy being taken away as a support pick, but yeah. It is going to be that Talia Vi, though, which is a really strong combo together. Maybe they're scared of like Vi, Talia, Poppy, but I think Varus could have done well into that just because you outrange it, and it is very...
This is so rough as well, because not only is Talia Vi like a thing and extraordinarily scary, they have the Varus open to pick, and the Talia has a good matchup into the Azir, theoretically, even if we haven't necessarily seen it be as dominating as it used to be, with, of course, a few buffs going over to Azir, and the same not being said for the Talia.
Yeah, I just think leaving the Varus open till that third pick was a little bit questionable. We have seen Sivir, though, often be picked into the Varus. A lot of people feel like it's a good answer because you can spell shield a lot of his spells. They obviously scale very well into the later stages and kind of shred in terms of AoE. The Shurima duo of the Sivir and the Azir does pretty solid, but you are outranged pretty hard regardless, so... We'll see. They obviously feel confident with what they picked up. I do think the Poppy value is pretty high here. Presumably, Gulkango actually jungle or support, so a lot of options in that regard.
I don't mind it in support, especially after the Sivir hits level 6, you know, on the hunt, giving the extra movement speed to a Poppy that can really line up those wall bangs. Can work quite effectively. There is the Nautilus ban.
Yeah, Nautilus, I mean, this doesn't... makes you think maybe it's going to be the Poppy support, but I think Nautilus just generally in terms of supports is one of the better ones into the Poppy because you dredge line, even if the Steadfast Presence comes through, still doesn't really interrupt his engage.
Yep.
Whereas things like the Rakan, the Rel, the Alistar all struggle a bit more.
The triple flex of the Poppy I think is really important as well, and I'm hoping that DNF do hold on to that with what they're going to lock in. And of course, I guess if you lock in a top lane, it's still flexible right between jungle and support. But certainly some places you can put this Poppy if you do not like some of the matchups that are being represented. The Nico going to be banned away here. Something that has found a whole lot of success.
Yeah, I think the Poppy puts them in a really good position in this next rotation just to keep them guessing. And Bessa ban comes through. maybe wanting to go for a tank top laner, potentially.
Yeah, Dudu Scion, perhaps.
Maybe could be an option in this situation.
With the Trundle Band away, it does certainly seem a whole lot more feasible. And without Gwen there as well, and now with Ambessa leaving, there's not a lot of tank shred that you can just put towards that top side. So it's understandable. And the Alistar going to be taken away. Certainly a very stock standard one.
I think it's a safe bank, because I think Alistar plus his composition would be super scary.
Galio. Oh man, Galio would be even more confusing, because that goes top and support. This is definitely support, so we're now flexing the Poppy between jungle and top in theory. I think it's very likely that it's going to be Pyoshik playing it, right? I think that's what everyone is assuming, as Renata for Beryl is a consideration, as the Rel has already been shown. This could be an interesting one. We haven't seen so much Renata, and Renata Varus can be a very, very scary lane. But instead, the Scion being considered, and with the fact that DNF didn't lock away this Scion in the last rotation, does give DK the opportunity to utilize it without, like we were saying, a lot of the answers that have been theoretically there.
I think he's got tank and a tank though for DM Freecs.
Just on it?
On Cho'Gath, both options. You can take
Cho'Gath is a great one, yeah.
So we'll see if they can do that. There is a decent amount of shred on Dplus into a Cho'Gath though, but I still think it's going to be...
Cho'Gath support for Beryl to deny the pick. Let's go.
We've seen him before.
Last time he played it was like just ignore what the result, right? He has played it before.
I feel a lot worse about the Karma than I did about the Renata. Like, we've seen him have some success on the Karma, but I feel like the disengage, the power of the ultimate off the Renata is a lot more significant. The Karma, the movement speed's there, but I think, you know, you're going to have some struggles. If you're on the front line warding and you get engaged on, you're going to get exploded. And I kind of feel like the front to back of the DM Freecs composition feels better, honestly.
Yeah.
With this Azir, with the Sivir. They are going to go for that Cho'Gath as well. It's going to be a super tank. You have a bulkier front line for the DM Freecs. You have this really strong engage off this Rel. I think DM Freecs can feel pretty happy about what they have on offer. Yeah, like, the Poppy Cho'Gath is so hard to deal with as well, because if Vi tries to step up and you get grounded and silenced, you just can't play the game.
Yeah, this is actually like a pretty massive draft gap, honestly, for the DN Freecs. This composition is so robust, right? And it's not hard to play out, because they have so much consistent damage between the Azir and the Sivir. And we saw Morgan, you know, like Cho'Gath is actually a carry threat as well. He walks up and eats people. Yep. You have so much control of neutral objectives as well with that feast. So I think DNF, certainly with a whole lot of tools at their disposal up against DK. And I think this might be, you know, like this might call for DK to actually have like an explosive early game to really roll a snowball down the hill. I think that if they play honest League of Legends, then they might just find themselves outscaled come mid to late game, and there's not going to be a whole lot they can do. I think so much is on your boys' shoulders, on Lucid's shoulders, to really carry them through into a great mid game and stop this Cho'Gath from being another problem for DK, like it was against the Bros. Did you notice that actually, like, we can talk about Bro in any matchup?
Yeah. And
we can find a way to do so.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
It's beautiful.
I hope you appreciate it, Degon. Oh wait, that's if Degon's still a Bro fan. The jury's still out on that one.
So one thing is, it is going to be the lethality Varus, and this Varus Karma lane matchup is a bit rough for the DM Freecs spot lane. They've actually gone TP on Sivir to try and mitigate some of that pressure. It's actually Spellbook
Sivir.
So this is interesting. Does mean you lose about out on, you know, having like lethal tempo. Does mean you lose out on a bit of that attack speed, that sustained pressure. But it means you get the extra utility of having TP to survive lane, and then a utility summon a spell later, maybe like Cleanse or Ghost. Those options there.
Whatever you feel like you need.
And the thing is,
you can always sort of cycle through them as well. So in theory, if a summoner spell does get used by Berserker, he can just grab himself another one.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's going to get to the point where Dplus' composition is really going to struggle, because they've gone specifically for this lethality Varus because they want the lane pressure, they want to spike earlier. but it means that they are even worse off when it comes to...
Yeah, Sion, Cho'Gath will become immortal.
Yeah, Cho'Gath, Poppy's going to be really hard to kill. If you just spell shield as Berserker later on, you just mitigate so much of aiming's damage. And I really feel like it's going to be so hard in the late game teamfights for Dplus, so they have to have that early momentum. You see, already they're applying that early pressure in the bot lane, which they absolutely need to. But this game does feel like it's on a bit of a timer.
Yep. And we'll have to keep our eye on it to see exactly whether they can keep this momentum up or not. The tempo vibes need to be in DK's favor in a very considerable way.
Oh, for sure.
As Berserker's going to be able to utilize the spell shield there, having hit level 2. Feeling okay about it, but DK will be able to have this lane pushed in perpetually. Is basically how it's going to go.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that it's really down to Pioshik to kind of survive as well, knowing that he's lacking pressure in his lanes. But you are playing Poppy, and Poppy and a Vi should be pretty stable. You know, it's kind of hard for the Vi to aggress too hard onto you, and also the fact that you can ground, the fact that if a gank comes in and you can gank, you can be very punishing there. It's also a great time, this Cho'Gath into Sion matchup, just on the fact you have so many ways to interrupt when he does his decimating smash.
Yep.
There's some matchups into the Sion where he charges like you up and you have to give so much respect. Cho'Gath is not one of them.
No, he just yells at him, puts a circle under him, all sorts, eats him.
Yeah, you have so much sustain early as well as the Cho'Gath. It's kind of unfun as a side. And obviously, eventually, these matchups kind of just turn into the...
Eat wave.
Yeah, but the thing with the Cho'Gath is you go Heartsteel often, or then you just farm stacks up the Sion, and you can also just gobble minions and get loads of health of that, so that's why it's often taken into it and feels very comfortable.
Yeah, both of these champions, in fact, are going to be stacking. Of course, Shiu going to have a few extra stacks, but that's just how the champion works. As Pioshik will find Lucid here in the river. Lucid actually on the other side of the rift. Steadfast presence making things very awkward. Scry's Bloom going to come on through. Lucid realizing that walk towards Pioshik might be the plan, but Showmaker's just going to walk on over himself. That's going to push the Poppy away, and the Raptors are going to be started here. As Pioshik does make his way in, doesn't find the stun with the heroic charges. The seismic shove on it too! And oh god, we were saying they need to get a good start, and this is what it looks like! As Lucid gets the big old shield, it's not quite enough. Another auto will do it though, and that is a 2-for-1 in favor of DK. In the meantime, there is another battle towards the bottom side as Life is taking a fair bit of damage. The Blighted Quiver stacks the flash forward. Aiming really wants to make it only 5 kills away from 2.5k. But he's not going to quite get it there. And I don't know whether he was ever all that close either. Still, they do manage to get a flash out from Life. And DK showing aggression everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, getting favorable plays in the mid-jungle. And I think a bit of an unforced error there from DNF. Kyoshi kind of whiffing pretty hard in that situation. See, bot lane, Life does manage to just survive. And the flash being burned from aiming, I think feeling pretty positive about that outcome overall, especially since Berserk is able to stay there and clear the wave. That TP coming in pretty clutch for them.
Yep.
But this mid-jungle play, I mean, I think multiple levels we saw Pioshik misplay this. There's a silence coming in just to stop the decimating smash.
Yeah. A little bit sad that it's not Gentleman Cho'Gath, which I think is just objectively the best skin for the champion. Yeah. Because then we could have heard the up you go and stuff like that.
Pioshik uses his W for the movement speed to get in range, but then he doesn't have it to prevent the Q here. He also doesn't land the stun into wall. So I feel like he kind of misplayed this about as much as you can, and then has to flash to finish off the kill, and then still ends up trading down. So I think Pioshik really misplayed that pretty massively, and gave the opportunity for Lucid and Showmaker to get a big advantage in this matchup.
And that's exactly what DK want to do, right? They want to be snowballing through this synergy that they have in the mid lane and the jungle. Vitalia is such a devastating combo, especially when it gets off to a good start, and that's exactly what has happened. 1-0-1 here for the Talia, as Berserker making his way in. Of course, Shiu knows that he's going to have some company up here, and I don't think he's dying anytime soon. Although they are hitting him with stuff. It's Sion, so he's fine.
Yeah, only his feelings get hit.
Yeah. He does have level 6 as well, so he can just train his way back in to this top lane if he would like to, but likely will be matching the swap. As of course, if DK do that, Clear out this wave on the bottom side, get that one shoved in, head back towards top side. They can fight for the grubs that are going to be up in a minute's time.
I was just a bit confused. You said if DK Doodoo that, but...
Sorry, Doodoo is on the other team. Yeah, no, that's my bad.
It's okay.
I keep forgetting, because Doodoo's playing really well, and it's, you know, DNF have been struggling a little bit. You can see everyone else on DK has a lead, but it's Doodoo. He's able to get stuff done here. Don't know how relevant that is going to be if this Vitalia situation remains unchecked.
Yeah, especially I feel like losing against Vitalia in the mid jungle and then getting momentum, it just allows them really to take over the map. We have ended up in this situation where Life is trying to assist Doodoo in the bot lane, and Berserker is solo up against Shiu. We've often times seen AD carries really struggle against Sion in the 1v1, but I think Sivir generally does okay because you have the spell shield for the decimating smash. You have the ult, you have the ghost, a lot of movement speed to avoid anything, plus Shivu doesn't have his ult available. So it should mostly be okay, I would think. Although we are seeing Life move up now.
Yeah.
Doodoo just kind of getting a little bit beaten up on.
He is using his health bar as a resource, ladies and gentlemen. And by that, I mean he's just being pummeled under the turret over and over again.
Yeah.
Beryl?
Not really any recourse at the moment.
Beryl is holding the minions so that Doodoo not going to be able to deal with this. Chains of Corruption comes in. It's oh no, they just take a pot shot and there it is. The duo kill has never looked so easy underneath this turret. Life and Berserker trying to return the favor, but it just doesn't look the same. And man, that was just a see your death scenario. You can see he's got flash. No opportunity to use it. Maybe out of the way of the Chains of Corruption would have been a good idea, but do you even live? Maybe not.
I mean, he was rooted by the Karma. They kind of set that up perfectly. The point click CC to set up the ult. And the thing is, no one wants to lane against Karma Varus, right? The Berserker and Life don't want to, so they leave Doodoo with that fate. But he doesn't want to lane against them either. It's just unfun to play against, so...
Well, at least Doodoo can hold up his pants really effectively, because he's got 2 belts. Yeah, let's have a look at this again. Let's observe where the counterplay is going to come from.
It just doesn't... You know, Beryl did a great job setting up the route. So they can't miss the follow-up route.
No, the maniacal giggle out of my boy Beryl. Yep, he's saying that's fun. That's it's his idea of a good time, guys.
Oh, and now Aiming has the Ghost Blade. Huge spike already for this Varus. Berserker in a bit of an unfortunate position in comparison. Doesn't have his 1 item completed. But even then, even with his 1 item completed, not really going to compare to that Ghost Blade spike that the Varus has. So... And we talked about early momentum for this Dplus composition. They have it already.
Yeah, and that's what I want to talk about. Sheepishly, you know, because I want to say, kind of want to take back what I said, where I said that DNF's comp looks good, because it looks good if they make it through this moment, and they're not quite making it through. So they're going to look for a little bit of a dive onto Shiu, maybe, but he has a health bar. Like
I don't think they can do that.
It's going to be a little bit tough.
I see these autos from Berserk onto Shiu, and I think,
And then he can just press the shield button, and his Soul Furnace will be like, no, I do not take damage anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen this before. Doodoo this time has more health, but DK may have just more people. So this turret in a whole host of trouble. Doodoo utilizing the passive relatively well to keep himself healthy. I mean, there is a lot of sustain.
I was wondering at what point is someone going to come help Doodoo, and then I saw Showmaker moving over, and I was like, oh, never.
Yeah. Well, Showmaker might be coming over to help Doodoo, but not in the right direction.
Yeah.
For what you were talking about. As Beryl did get knocked up momentarily. Doodoo is just trying to evacuate as the Rupture doesn't really do anything here. Take your Cho'Gath for a walk. And, yeah, he's now under an inner turret. That's all right. Keep his verdict. Going to come on through here. Says goodbye to the Scion. As he teleports back to the turret. Okay. He wants to deal with this wave so he doesn't lose the turret, but he might be in trouble here. Life is taking so much damage, though, so they cannot stay under this fully charged turret, and the minion wave is dealt with.
I've never seen that.
He's
like, dive me.
Odd.
He's like, dive me, dive me. They're like, no, we refuse. They knock him away. He's like, no, no, no. I insist that you dive me.
Well, Bulldog is going to turn up as well, so he is going to acquiesce, but they still lose the first turret. So,
but I mean, she got a lot of CS, a lot of farm, a lot of XP, did buy some time. Just a very funny interaction. It was odd. Very goofy passage of play. But yeah, in the end, do get a trade of turrets, but Dplus also very early second dragon going to be picked up here.
Yeah, so they're going to grab second dragon, and the thing that I was quizzical about, right, was the fact that I think that turret was definitely going to go down anyway. Bulldog headed up there as Beryl is just consistently, like, keeping Cho'Gath on a leash. Like, actually. Throughout this game. But the problem is it's just such a trade down for DNF, right? They invest their mid laner towards that topside play, but they don't even get the first turret blood. They lose the Drake. They're just giving away so much more than what they're gaining.
Oh man, it's an Infernal Soul with Lethality Varus as well.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's going to make things more difficult.
Well, that's if DK gets it. Now is the time for the DNF turnaround. As Bulldog going to be able to grab some plates here, actually. Feeling pretty good about that one, as you can see, evening out the mid lane gold matchup.
My only concern is that DNF haven't typically been a turnaroundy team. They've been a win early on and then...
All right. Oh, man, that was so sick. But still, it is aiming falling down. And it's stolen kill there by Beryl at the same time. By stolen, I mean, maybe he deserved it, as Bulldog going to get roared at here, Slayer-like. And DK go 1 for 1 in that mid lane, trading some 80 carries. Probably a trade up, though, for DNF, with the fact that aiming is probably worth a little bit more.
They just hate this Cho'Gath.
Yeah. Just making sure they keep him supervisated, as you would say. Here on this top side, as the Vault Breaker comes on in, and it's a little bit of a Cho'Gath breaker, as Seismic Shove goes a little bit wide. It is Bully the top lane a day, as the Zombie Scion should be able to at least deal with these minions, but the turret is likely to still go down.
Will take a little bit longer, but yeah, it should go down. Especially the 3 grubs in pocket for DNF just make it pretty easy. And we are seeing the teams be proactive, make things happen. A lot of trading back and forth, but still it's Dplus with a bit of an edge and those 2 dragons in pocket. Yep.
This Drake is going to go down, though. That's going to give DNF a bit more money into those coffers, and we'll be able to help even out things when it comes to the gold. But there are feats of strength over to DK. They've got a couple of dragons as well. There are some things that aren't necessarily represented by money right now that are giving them a little bit of an advantage. But those extra turrets certainly going to help DNF stay up to date when it comes to these items. I'm going to check this one out one more time, and it didn't look like there was a whole lot that Dudu could do about this.
Yeah, Beryl tanked the tower early, and so he put all that CC onto Lucid, and it just didn't really change the outcome. And then on the other side of the map, Shu gets the ult, gets flipped out, and they all just jump over and follow him over the wall.
Yeah,
kill him.
Just kind of dead.
Yeah. Not a lot you can do.
No, didn't look a whole lot of fun. Being a top laner in this game, not great.
Yeah, we have the Beryl maniacal laughing, having a great time, and then we have the top laner just...
Yeah, she was like, can you just not do that? Because I represent what you're laughing at right now.
Yeah, it feels kind of personal.
Yeah, it's real tough. Some extra plate gold actually going over to DNF to the tune of about 250, so not too bad. Pulling some money out of the structures. Still, DK going to be able to trade back as far as turrets are concerned. Grab this top lane outer. That's going to give them the gold lead once again, as Dudu just taking damage, man. He's just taking damage.
I mean, that's the thing with this game. It's very accelerated in terms of gold because the amount of plate gold both teams have had. A lot of towers going down. For the LCK standard, a decent amount of kills so far.
Yep. Beryl as well has a lot of ability to go fast. Shirelia's is done. He's also got the mantra to Inspire as well. Chains of Corruption is going to fly on forward. Does get a snare. Seismic Shove comes down as well. And there goes the Cho'Gath. He's supposed to be tanky, but it doesn't quite work out that way as life is going to get taken out. And Purshik says, that's enough. And DK say, all right.
No real resistances yet, just a lot of health, and the percentage HP damage going to cut through the Cho'Gath. I feel like DNF posturing, ready for, well, I guess not ready in truth for the fight. And Dplus pull the trigger and just obliterate the front line of this team. You see it come in, so the ult connects onto Life, who then jumps, but then it just redirects onto the Cho'Gath. He gets flipped, bounced, and destroyed. And the slam comes in from the Scion, and they just obliterate the Rel as well. Even have the exit from the Poppy delivered. And it just felt like at no point in that situation was DNF really ready for the fight.
Yeah, they didn't really have too many options. Maybe if Bulldog had found a sick angle to find a big old sweep, but even if they did manage to do that, the Cho'Gath was just dead in the blink of an eye. And once Dudu goes down in the 4v5 without their tanky frontline, like Pioshik just isn't really tanky enough, right? He's gone the Sundered Sky build, which most poppies do go these days, but it doesn't mean you're all that tanky in these moments. As Berserker kind of wishing he had 16 different spell shields. Yeah, does cleanse to get back to this teleport so that he can go for a cheeky recall. That is pretty handy. It's actually pretty cool that a lot of the summoners that you're going to be sitting on as a Sivir are just, you can use them instead of having to walk up and finding someone to ignite or exhaust or something like that you have to do sometimes. Berserker just able to press these buttons, get a little bit of value as Bulldog going forward. Chains of Corruption comes down yet again as aiming avoids the Magnet Storm gorgeously here. Beryl is going to stun up Dudu there on the side as well, or at least snare him. As Xiu just holding on to that front line. Roar of the Slayer comes in, Lucid gets the knockback on the Vault Breaker, and down goes Bulldog. Couldn't even use his ult, didn't find the time. There's a knock up onto Dudu as well, but DK looks like they can kind of do no wrong here in this game.
And DNF just not able to connect onto the right target. You saw that attempt to come in.
All right, unstoppable onslaught. Flash out there from Pioshik. Not able to play the baseball as, oh no. Seismic Shove collects Dudu and he's dead once again. The Keeper's verdict is in and no one cared. They didn't even check their letterbox. The verdict just goes unlistened to.
I think DNF probably starting to regret the fact they let this Varus go over to the other side. You know, the poke's coming out and they just feel like they can't get in range, can't deal with it. The movement speed as well, a factor here. We see Bulldog looks for an angle. The stun doesn't come in. The shuffle attempts, but he doesn't get close enough and doesn't go for it. The ult from Life just completely whiffs. And then, you know, you've lost so much health already. The Unraveled Earth was down. What are you supposed to do? Your engaged tools are already gone.
Yeah.
And Dplus just slowly approach. The ult comes out from Lucid to finish off the Azir. And DNF just have really nothing to offer in return.
Yeah, Beryl just made sure that Dudu wasn't able to actually help the rest of his team. And as we're having a look at this, the Unstoppable Longsword gets the flash out from Pioshik, but it's Dudu that's caught out, lumbering towards his inner turret. And the Keeper's verdict just a little bit too late, right? The fight had already concluded. We're going to still have a little bit of funny business here, but Beryl just presses W.
He's just chilling.
Yeah.
Just having a great time. Standing outside of range of the CC, tethering Life.
Maybe this is just like Beryl's current like flavor of the month pick. You know, he's just really enjoying the karma. He has been gravitating to this pick quite a lot here in the LCK. There's another Vault Breaker onto Pioshik, not able to actually press W, and I don't know whether he'll really have too much of an opportunity as the Blight not actually going to get popped there, and Lucid is in a bit of trouble. Blastcone gets Pioshik out of there, and the Vault Breaker is going to pull Lucid away, and I guess he just walks out. I don't know.
It's insane that he managed to get out of that.
That is so silly.
A little ambitious. They went for the Poppy in that situation, and then a little bit of a knock away there, I believe, was what stopped aiming to be able to pop the Blight stacks. I'm not sure if he would have died to that because it was a pop with the E, not with the Q. But either way, Pioshik survives. But then the mad thing is that Lucid manages to find an angle to get away with the dash. And we just get no kills on the back of that play.
Yeah, so it's a 4,000 gold lead here for DK. They've got Soul Point as well. 3 minutes until the Dragon is up and available. Artican is going to be there, and bounties are live. So DNF, if they are able to get themselves a good position, find a miracle team fight, they could just really slingshot their way back into this game.
Artican, because you know what? Just send it.
Sometimes that is the way. Oh, R is available here from Xiu. Can just drive his way into this fight, but instead he's going to teleport.
I've seen Lucid steal these.
Yeah, Showmaker comes over. Is it even really a steal? As both junglers are just standing in front of this Artican. The wall is going to get put up, and Pioshik is potentially on the wrong side of it. The Keeper's verdict comes down. He needs to knock away the jungler, but the Unstoppable Longsword comes in. They do manage to take the Artican, but at what cost, ladies and gentlemen? And maybe it's just the lives of all of them. Dudu gonna go down. Bulldog finds the shuffle, but the Sun Disc just gets torn up, and there is the ace, and it's clean from DK.
Artican picked up, but it's definitely not with Dplus. Just annihilate them in the fight.
But got the Artican though.
Yeah, it's a small consolation prize. We see the ult comes out from Pioshik. Q actually buffers it with his ult to block it here. Slams straight into it. The smite comes in, but the ult comes down from the Varus. 2 members of the front line immediately decimated, and they just push forward here. Lucid dives, but look how low the Sun Disc is. It just dies immediately, so the shuffle means nothing. It just puts Berserker in a weird spot. and immediately the rest of the team are cleaned up.
Oh, man. Lucid looking absolutely fantastic on this Vi. I actually love that it's not engaged Vi, right? Who just presses R at the beginning of the fight. He just threatens the ult, like for half the team fight.
Yeah.
It is absolutely ridiculous. One more kill for aiming, and he will hit 2,500 kills.
You know
the fourth player to do so here in the LCK.
I think he's in with a pretty good shot.
I think he might be able to do it. You might be right there, but we do not count chickens or kills before they've hatched or been done. So, aiming, fishing a little for a piercing arrow.
It would be very Dplus for them to just steal the kills away from him so he doesn't get it.
Yeah. If Beryl ends the game like 8-0-10 or something on this Karma, you know that they did that intentionally.
Remember the series where he had his Penta stolen back-to-back?
Yes.
And Showmaker said, I'm sorry.
And he was apologizing for it for about a week, I think, after that as well. It was very funny. Good stuff. 8,000 gold is the approximate lead, or 7.3k. But still, it is, the surmountability of this lead is low, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think best case scenario here is you kind of play under your... This is not doing that, but I would say play under your inhibitor turrets, and then when Dplus try and siege push in, you kind of try and fight them there. But the problem is Dragon Soul is up in 15, and they're trying to... they're in a rough spot. They
are a little bit split.
Yeah.
Life has taken 50% of his health bar just from a Q out of aiming. Dudu does find his way in, and this is Infernal Soul point. And so we were talking about, you know, the Varus 5-1-5, looking for his 6th kill to hit 2.5k. If he gets this Infernal Soul, that's going to feel even more dangerous.
You have to send a Flash Gobble. It's the only way.
Yep, that's what it has to be. Look at Shu's health bar. It is really too much. It's a bit ostentatious, to be honest. It's just really large. They do manage to shove him against the wall. Life is, I don't know where he's going.
Wait, they can get it.
Defecting. And that is going to be the dragon stolen away. But the Rel is also dead. They do manage to get the wall slam there as Pyoshik taking so much damage, but so is Shu, just flashes away. In the end, the cease and desist comes through as the shuffle is going to be used to get rid of Lucid. Berserker though, and that's aiming. 2.5k kills, and he's going to look to augment that with perhaps even more as Lucid dives forward towards Pyoshik. There's a piercing arrow. 2.5k and 1. As Dudu's teleporting out, he wants nothing more of this game. There's the shove to get him out of the teleport. You ain't going anywhere, buddy. And we're going to get the zoom. As we do congratulate aiming as being the 4th to get over 2,500 kills.
They denied the soul, but it cost them so much in return, and DNF just weren't really in a position to fire. They did get Shu low, but didn't even finish him off. 2nd bot laner to get their achievement, 4th overall. Slightly ahead of Chovy, who's not even too far away from it.
Yeah, and has been playing for a year or two longer than Chovy as well, which is why that number is still higher. You can imagine Chovy probably catching up with the amount that he has put on the board. But we're going to have a look at this fight one more time. It was weird. The denial of the soul, though, pretty cool.
I think fight is a strong term. You know, this was kind of... They got the dragon, and then they just kind of beat up on Shiwu. Shiwu manages to survive, crazily enough, in the situation.
That's called tanking.
Yeah, and then Berserker's trying to kill Beryl, but gets baited by the Mantra W, and then just kind of...
Why was Berserker just fighting, aiming Beryl off to the side?
That is not a question that I am currently equipped to answer.
Yeah, there were 3 different fights that were occurring all at the same time, and DNF lost all of them.
Okay, but, you know, it happened. It happens. Now, we're in base defense mode. In fairness, DNF have a lot of wave clear. And the problem is the Baron is up. I just don't think you can contest the Baron.
Well, Dudu is also a Void Monster, so they're going to look to take him down first. That is the first option. That's one of the smites down. Yeah. They technically can have 4 if Dudu was alive. Which he isn't. He's not. He's also 0-6, so it's not exactly all that dangerous.
I think Dplus just move over to it and take it. I don't think you can even walk through this part of the jungle. TP's coming in.
I mean, I think it's game over kind of one way or the other, right? Because DK, they start off the Baron, they have maybe 2 people there, but otherwise they just play defense.
Going quick end or slow end? That's the question for DNF.
Yep. As Lucid, they're just wanting to start off this fight. And look at this, the pick is just so devastating. At least Life is able to get himself out with the crash down. But they're using that to get themselves away from this Baron pit. And yeah, they've already invested.
Ow.
There's one control ward. Actually, there's another one. Dudu does have one that he's bringing from base, but the Unstoppable Onslaught. Bulldog, that's some quick little footsteps there, but not able to get out of the way of everything, and the Seismic Shove hits on both solo lanes. Down goes the Azir, down goes the Cho'Gath, and that's a free Baron going over to DK. This is a slaughter.
Not even close. Honestly, at this point, so much damage coming out from the carries from Dplus, just shredding 0-7-0 right now on this Cho'Gath. He is not a tank, not in any way, shape, or form.
That's face check. There we go. Well, Shattering Strike is going to come on through there. Showmaker doing a lot of damage. He's got a death cap. Okay, that's probably why. As we don't get another Decimating Smash, Baron is going to go down. And DK can do basically anything and accidentally win.
Aiming even went Umbleglaive to clear out the vision. That's how much they were choking vision out in this situation. They had 5 control woods as well in this red side jungle. There was just no way they could contest the Baron. I actually think the play was just to sit in base and turtle, which is... It sounds really bad to just give up Baron, but I just don't think you have any other option at this point. It's so desperate right now. Yeah, this, I guess.
Yeah, I reckon go for this.
Yeah, you know what? A little bit of this. Let's see who... Maybe if you find a barrel, a wild barrel...
Well, I mean, Showmaker's almost killable. But never mind. Okay, Steadfast Presence going to get Pyosik out of there. I don't know why.
They're behind you now. That's not... Oh, what are you...
Yes.
This don't feel so good.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there is 40 seconds on the Soul, but DK are like, well, we could do that, or we could do the Nexus killing thing.
You know what? Your base will respawn in the next game, so I guess they're just not...
That is true. Because, yeah, not only do base, like, Nexus turrets respawn, but Nexuses do respawn in the next game.
Yeah. This isn't the best of one, so maybe they just... this is called the Nexus sack.
Yeah. Yeah. Sack Nexus, but maybe keep Nexus next game. As Showmaker able to avoid the Keeper's Verdict. And Pyosik can at least recharge that health bar momentarily. Beryl just having fun in the bouncy castle. As DNF underneath these next turrets, in goes Lucid, the Seismic Shove onto the entire team! And you blink, and 3 of them are dead. Bulldog gonna go down immediately afterwards as aiming all of the kills in the universe. He might hit 3K today as he picks up a triple here. Nexus turrets go down as well, and DK, yeah, they obliterate DNF here in game number 1.
Not even close. No other way to spin it. Decimation for minute 1. I feel like bot lane just brutalized Berserker in life initially, but Dudu was the main focus of the IO when he had to step up against them. Lucid had a great game.